Hey everyone! Today I'm going to be testing TikTok building hacks in Bloxburg. The links to the TikToks will be in the description down below, so let's get right into it. The first hack is this plush bed. Place and resize a basic cube to be like this shape. Then resize a beveled basic cube to be this size. Make sure it lines up with the edge of this cube perfectly. Now just copy the beveled cube to fill the headboard. Place down a standard double bed or 2 single standard beds. Clone the headboard and move it to the end of the bed. Use the transform tool to move it closer to the ground, which will make the footboard or baseboard or whatever it's called. Lastly, just decorate the bed however you want. The final hack looks just like the TikTok. This is super cute and I'd highly recommend trying it. The second hack is an entryway or closet. Make a wall 4 squares wide and 1 square deep. Then make this design with the tall rustic cabinets. Place ottomans in the middle where you want to be able to sit. Then place a smooth basic cube and resize it to cover up the ottomans and fill in the space. Clone the cube and make it super thin and place it on top of the seat as a cushion. Then decorate it however you want to. Lots of realistic building hacks don't actually work, so I really appreciate how you can sit down with this hack. The third hack is a daybed. This one is really hard to recreate, but it is definitely worth it. Use basic cubes to make a little 2 square wide base like this. Then use more basic cubes to make a border as tall as you want to, and just leave the front of the daybed open. Now, use a smooth basic cube to fill in the middle to be like a sort of mattress. Optionally, you can use basic cubes to add like these small details around the top of the border. Just copy what I'm doing on the screen. Then just add some pillows. Finally, add basic blankets over the edge of the daybed like this. Add a messy long blanket to fill in the remaining space. This is by far my favorite building hack in this video. It's really hard to make, but definitely worth it. The next hack is some wall indents. Simply use indents to add more detail to your builds, and that's all there is to this hack. I tried this out and made a cute little bookshelf here. This is a super low effort hack, so I definitely recommend it. The next hack is a realistic desk. Make a 2x1 wall like this, place a basic cube in the corner, and resize it to be a little bit bigger. Then use small round rods to make a drawer design on the front of the cube. Use standard round rods to add a little more detail to the drawers. Now place another cube and resize it to be the top of a desk. Transform the cube above the drawer like this. You can add another cube on top of this for more detail. Now copy the drawer and place it on top of the desk over the other drawer. Copy the cube again and delete the drawer design. Make the cube taller and use small round rods to make a cabinet design just like this. Then add another basic cube up to the ceiling and just make a small drawer design. Finally, add some shelves above the desk and decorate. This is an amazing hack and it's super realistic. I really like it. Next is a MacBook Air. Place on a laptop on a desk and close it. Then place a transparent basic cube and resize it as small as possible. Add a transparent decal to the front of the cube and also make this as small as possible. With the transform tool, rotate the cube so the decal is facing upward and then move it to the center of the laptop. Lastly, change the decal to the code on the screen. This hack looks nice, but unfortunately it looks bad when you actually open the laptop, so I'd only recommend using this if you're rich and want some fancy decoration. Next is a calendar. Place a beveled basic cube and make it as thin as possible, and then make it about this size. Transform it so it's on a wall. Copy the cube and transform the other one above the first cube. Place some chains between the 2 parts of the calendar just like I'm doing. Finally, put a taped photograph on each cube and resize them to fit. The decal code I used is on the screen. Next is a bubble candle. Place a sphere and resize it to be as small as possible. Stack 3 of these spheres on top of each other. Clone the stack and make a 3x3 square. Now place a basic cube and make this as small as possible. Put a vintage candle on the cube. Now use the transform tool to move the cube in the center of the candle so the flame is just on top of it. I really love this hack, however it costs about 12k, so just remember it's very expensive. Next is an elevated fireplace. Place a basic fireplace, then use thin square beams to outline the fireplace 3 times. Then resize a transparent cube as small as possible and add a transparent decal to it. Change the decal to this code. Resize the decal to fit the fireplace better. Transform the basic cube so the decal is in front of the fireplace. Lastly, add a blanket on top of the fireplace and resize it to fit better. This hack is a great way to add more detail and realism to your builds. Next is a modern dresser. Resize the basic cube to the size of dresser that you want. Place vertical planks on the dresser for the drawers. You can transform these to move them around if you need to. Then place a basic cube on top of the dresser and resize it to go slightly over the edge. This is great for modern builds. You can also add a real dresser inside if you want it to be functional. The second to last hack are packages. These are supposed to open and close, but the TikTok was really confusing, so I just made something similar. In the TikTok, there are these cute little gift packages. To make them, use a basic cube to make one side of a package. Then copy it over to make 2 sides. Repeat the step for the other 2 sides. Add whatever you want inside the package or just add a top to the package. Use structural beams to make tape on the sides of the package and just resize these to be wider. I really wish I could have actually made these functional, but I still think it turned out pretty well. The last hack is this custom shelf. Place a basic cube and resize it to look like a shelf, then copy it and use the transform tool to move the second shelf above the first one and just a little bit further back. Transform the 2 shelves to where you want them to be on your wall. Now use a thin rod to connect the top shelf to the wall like this. Make sure to clone this to the other side. Lastly, use another thin rod to connect the bottom shelf to the top shelf and do this on both sides. The final design is super cute and perfect to take up empty wall space. Before the video ends though, I made a bedroom with most of these building hacks to show you how they can be used in a build. Anyway, that is going to be all for this video. Check out the TikToks used in the description down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.